Ciao Tutti or Ciao Tutti. I'm just going to check on Facebook. Come on, Facebook. Come on. Oh my God, what is going on in my life? Sorry guys, I think I'm going to have to redo this. So I feel like I'm cursed at the moment. Oh, God. Come on. Oh my God. What is going on in my life? Ciao all. Sorry guys. This is not a very cheery video, I've got to admit. I didn't think I was going to make a video, but I decided to react to this. I was going to make some videos on Egypt and my plans for them to be a bridge between Africa together with Asia, Africa and Asia to network together. But I think I'm going to do that tomorrow, and then I was going to do my plans for April, but I'll probably do that on Thursday, obviously the day after tomorrow. So things will be later than scheduled, but ASAP, I guess. But yeah, a terrible ending to what's been a bad month, and a bad day, week, month, and even year, I guess. I know people might say it's first world problems, but when they add together, it really starts to build, as they say, the straw that, is it the straw or the feather that breaks the camel's back or whatever. But just trying to know where to begin with this. Italy were 1-0 up, and then a stupid decision by Bastoni. I think I say another word that we use with BAS, but I guess as far as I'm aware, he's only doing his job, I guess. Made a silly mistake. But it's a terrible, from what I've seen of it, it was a terrible tackle. I didn't actually get to watch the game. I tried to see if it was on TV. It's probably for the best. I didn't, but I was listening to it on some YouTube podcasts, like Growing Up Italian, IFTV, and the Juventus channel, Just Juve, or whatever. But we were 1-0 up, as I say. We were 1-0 up, and then got a player sent off, and then conceded a goal, and we went to penalties. I was hoping and praying, if you like, an answered prayer, that we were gonna go through in spite of my or our sins. But I know I put in the title on Facebook and in the description on YouTube. I think I did the title and description in the opposite order for YouTube or whatever. But I know I put Italy let me down, but it's not all about me. But just for the sake of the title, I put that on. It's let all the Italian fans down. I know some people say football is scripted. I hope not, but I hope the best team wins or whatever. And I was singing credit to Bosnia again. I didn't see the game, but they've won twice on penalties now. They on both occasions they came back from 1-0 down. Not sure what time they scored against us. I think it was the 86th minute against Wales. I was hoping we'd check where their penalties go. I was also hoping their penalties would go over or wide or over, not be saved. And we get those blessings, get luck if you want to put that, whatever, blessings and that kind of thing. But yeah, trying to think about words I want to describe how I'm feeling, like, I guess, broken, dejected, embarrassed, really. Embarrassing, losing 3, getting to not qualify for 3 World Cups in a row. And I was thinking one of my fears this year would be Italy not getting to the World Cup, Celtic not winning the league in Scotland, and Arsenal winning the league instead of Man City. I'm hoping Man City can still win that league. And I was thinking also that, I know everything, but in 92, when I was 10, around about 10, because I was born in 82, funny enough, when Italy won a World Cup once. What a year that must have been, I guess. But on a slightly more serious note, I was thinking Denmark didn't qualify, but they got to the World Cup and went all the way through to win it. So, sorry, the Euros, not World Cup. So I wondered if we could do that, if like Iran drops out and we take their place and go all the way. I mean, thinking about Bosnia, I don't know if I believe in luck, but it does seem like they've got that fighting spirit. Maybe even blessed, I guess you could say. I don't know. But coming from behind twice to draw 1-1 and then to win on penalties feels almost like the old German teams, how they used to do it. So there could be dark causes, as I say, in the World Cup and is at Euros. But yeah, I'm feeling embarrassed, dejected, defeated, and all sorts of things. So I feel like if Hearts, or as I call them, the farts, if farts as I call them, or Hearts, really called, short of the Heart of Midlothian in Scotland, if they win the league, and especially if who I call the rankers win the league instead of Celtic, I'll be even more dejected. I think the worst scenario would be the rankers winning the league and Arsenal win the league, especially after Italy, have failed to qualify for the World Cup. This would be a souvenir of a terrible year. And talking about a terrible year, we'd have to wait for another 4 years. But I do remember a program. One of the things I was thinking about, again, thinking so much, is a program by Gary Lineker. That's it, yeah, Gary Lineker, former England footballer, who talked about can England win the World Cup, and he talked about like one thing he mentioned. What I remember on that program was about Spain and how they had a worse record than England at that time, and since then they've won a World Cup and 2 Euros, I think, 2 or even 3 Euros in fact since then, to become the most successful team in terms of winning the Euros. So I think that did make me think. I'm not sure if it was that specifically, or whatever, but I think like basically it's time for change. I think Gravina and all those involved in the board of Italian football should be sacked, I think, and replaced, in my opinion. I know it's a bit harsh, but I think they should be replaced. Maybe even the manager, maybe it's time. I know he wasn't given much time, but not sure about the manager, double question about that. But I think all the board should probably be sacked and replaced, or pretty much all of them, and be replaced by former footballers. The other thing is talking about the players as well. I think they should be replaced by younger players with passion, heart, desire, hunger, and that kind of thing for the national team. I think all the older players, Bostonian people like that, I think pretty much all the players I think should be replaced by younger players with more heart and desire. I think I didn't really get to watch many of the games, but I think Keane, although apparently he missed an easy chance, but he has been scoring quite a few goals. Keane, Tonali, and people like that, I think players who have played well, I think should stay, but the rest, I think, should be replaced by younger players, like young, hungry players. I'm so disappointed in M.K.S, and he didn't want to play, unless he really is genuinely injured. I think he should have came out and helped. It's unforgivable that he didn't help the team in a time of need, especially after doing so well in the Euros. I know that was 5 years ago, but yeah, I think it's time for a wholesale change. I think probably pretty much all the board, except for maybe Buffon, possibly, although he has been in charge for at the board for a certain amount of time, and we still haven't improved. I think there should be wholesale changes, and Italian football needs to learn from like Spain. I think Serie A needs to learn from La Liga, what they've done well, especially, and the EPL, but especially La Liga. And I think Italy needs to learn from Spain and France. And I know I talked about that recently, like learning from those teams. And again, like what Gary Lineker said about England, like Spain had a worse record than England, who won 1 World Cup and no Euros. So he said, if Spain does it, why can't England? And I think similar with Italy, even more so, like Italy, the culture, climate, culture, and whatnot is similar to Spain. So why can't Italian football play like Spanish football? As the culture, lifestyle, family, and those values and all that kind of thing are pretty much the same, I'm sure, as Spain. And Italy had that good record in past. Again, I didn't really get to watch. I think I only watched a bit of the Northern Ireland game, but I haven't really got to watch Italy more recently. But people said the defence used to be really strong. It used to be the strong point of Italy's team, but now even the defence is like playing badly. Goalkeeper giving away the ball too much, making mistakes, inviting pressure on, making silly decisions, silly tackles. I suppose even Maldini and Nesta sometimes used to do that, especially Nesta, I think. But yeah, it used to be very hard to score against. I didn't see, as I say, I didn't see Bosnia's goal. And I suppose we were down to 10 men, but perhaps the old Italian teams with good defence could see it out. So yeah, I think a whole new rebuild has to be done. And I think unlike the first, in fact, in like the last two World Cups, I was hoping it'd be third time lucky, that kind of thing. But unlike the last two World Cups where Italy didn't get through, I think that there needs to be a wake-up call to make those changes. Without changes, I think it's just going to carry on. I've read the thought. I guess part of me is thinking, well, I initially thought like Spain, they didn't win any World Cups. I suppose they had a few good Euro results, but they didn't win any World Cups. But as I mentioned, having said that, they didn't fail to qualify. I think France failed to qualify for a World Cup and then Euros and then did really well. But to think about a team failing to qualify for 3 World Cups, I don't think any other major team has done that. It'd be unthinkable for Brazil, Germany, Argentina, probably even France, almost certainly Spain now, or even England. People are going about England like saying how poor the team is, but they're improving. But yeah, I think certainly things need to change. I think the Serie A needs to play more younger players. They need to play. They always. I want to see at least 3 under 21 players being played in all games, even in the World Cup games, but especially definitely in friendlies. There's no need to play older players in the Olympics and in the Euros, and maybe even if the players are not picking up, we might as well at least play youth for the future. If the older players are not doing well, it's the whole point of experience is, like someone was saying, going for experience rather than younger players is one of the mistakes Gattuso made. But the whole point of being experienced is that you don't learn, you don't make the same old mistakes over and over again. I guess, generally speaking, or teaching an old dog new tricks or whatever they say, something like that as well. But yeah, younger players have an opportunity to practice and that kind of thing. But yeah, certainly for friendlies, and I think for the Olympics, Euros, and if Italy ever gets the Confederations Cup or any other competitions outside the World Cup, I think we should always play young players. And in the Italian Super Cup, the Coppa Italia, and even Serie A to play younger players. And like when people are playing in the park, help to train younger players, like help your players to be involved, as long as they don't go for too tough tackles, I guess. But I guess you do have to be careful on that side of things. You don't want to get injuries, of course, but also improving diets, like older people can lead by example. But I'd love to go to Italy and be involved in coaching. But as I say, I feel really cursed at the moment. Like all these things seem to be going wrong, all these plans and all that kind of thing. So as I say, I do feel cursed. I know it's all Italian fans who are going through the same thing, but when so many things go wrong together, it's a bit of a pain. But yeah, I know I'm saying woe is me, but 3 World Cups in a row is just not acceptable. Like something has to change. How it used to be, it has to go back to that sort of game. But I think that's anything I want to say. Like I say, I feel cursed, embarrassed. It's going to be embarrassing when I talk to my Arsenal mate or other mates or people. Like 3 World Cups in a row, it's pretty much unforgivable for a team like Italy or any top team. As I say, I know Spain, France, Argentina, Brazil, Germany, or even England would not put up with failing to qualify for 3 World Cups in a row and like not seeing changes. They'd probably calling for. I'm sure they'd be calling for. Probably all of those nations, certainly Brazil. Like there'd be riots on the street. I'm sure if there's no sort of changes, if there's no sort of like if there's no changes. I know it's narrow margins, like it was penalties. But even things before that could have been done better. Picking different players, giving more younger players opportunities. I think seeing that Bosnia already went to penalties against Wales, I don't know if they changed their penalties, but Italy should have been prepared to say, oh, roughly where I know it doesn't always work like that, I guess, but the old German teams used to be really good for it, like sports science. But yeah, worrying at times, to be honest, like another 4 years till 2030. I'd say a cheeky part of me, it would feel a bit it would feel unfair and almost a bit dirty, if that's the right word, but excuse the expression, but as they say, through the back door, don't mean it that way, but if Iran got kicked out or didn't, or decided not to go to World Cup, or they weren't allowed for health and safety reasons or whatever, or as I say, they decided not to attend, and we took their place and went on to win it somehow by some miracle. Yes, I'd take it, just like Denmark, as I say, won the Euros in '92. And funny enough, and sadly enough, that was because of war. I like what Peter Schmeichel said, was like, they showed that you can be peaceful and peace or pays, I guess, some words to that effect. So I like what Peter Schmeichel said. And yeah, if FIFA made the World, that's another thing I was thinking about. So I'm trying to remember. I thought if FIFA made the World Cup every 2 years instead of every 4, and then Italy had a chance to win. But yeah, so it's sort of, especially when we were one. I knew you shouldn't celebrate too early, but again, maybe it's all ifs and buts. But if we didn't have a player sent off, it would have made a massive difference. But being 1-0 up and all that kind of thing, the passion should have been there to get to the World Cup. So I'd say it's unforgivable. It was unforgivable the first time. It definitely was the second time, with all due respect, especially to Macedonia, and it certainly is for the third time. It's really embarrassing, and hopefully a positive can come from it. And you have to go to the bottom to get back to the top. Also, I'm showing my loyalty to Italian football, because it's so tempting to say, oh, I'm going to give up on football completely now. But yeah, hopefully changes will be made soon, and I think it's going to be made now and preparing for the next World Cup. Getting more younger players in, getting friendlies, maybe even trying to organise friendlies against big teams for the next few years, like Brazil, Argentina, Germany, Spain, France, and teams like that, to sort of practice against them and get younger players to practice against teams at that level, and just develop, maybe watch videos of other teams, see their weaknesses and strengths, and again see what Italian football can learn from Spain, France, Argentina, Brazil, England, Germany, and other teams. Learning about sports science, penalties, and things like that. Those can be the margins. And perhaps not being complacent when we take on teams. I mean, I saw on IFTV, on Italian Football TV, Antonio, I mentioned in a previous video, he said that we're definitely going to win outside. Please don't say that. We made to eat our words. And also, I know people said that Italy celebrated, supposedly, when we were going to face Bosnia. Obviously, it turned out to be a nightmare in the end. And also, Tuso saying things about African countries and their qualifiers, and something about there shouldn't be so many African teams or something like that. And so I suppose some people might say it's just that we go out, but from a biased point of view, I still want us to go through, just to be confident and positive, but not arrogant or complacent or anything like that. So not to be too negative, but not to be too complacent, to have positivity, and to be confident, but in a down to earth kind of way, to get that balance right. But yeah, I hope it's a wake up call and a blessing in disguise. Maybe I doubt it, but not much to believe in or hope for now. But as a town football fan, to be honest. Again, I know people say it's only football in the grand scheme of things, like illnesses, diseases, wars, and all that kind of thing going on. But I think you've got to have something in life that makes you passionate. Otherwise, it's just. I think I see most things as being like a chore. So football's one of the few things I enjoy, and I enjoy the tactical side of things, even though I do have some naiveties and whatnot. I say I can be thick as two short planks, or even all the planks in the world put together, thick or thin. But at the same time, it'd be quite ironic if I could help Italian football to become the number one again. But yeah, it's a nightmare over 4 years, and that kind of thing. There's something else I was going to say, completely forgotten, but it's probably for the best to wrap this up. But yeah, maybe you have to get to the bottom before you can sort of rebuild. Maybe if we got to the World Cup, one thing I was thinking about, I suppose one way of putting it is, if we got to the World Cup and we thought, yeah, we've made it to the World Cup now, we could be complacent and then go back to old ways and just get battered when we got there anyway. Whereas not getting there, hopefully, is like a wake-up call. I'd say, come on, 3 times in a row, things have got to change. But yeah, it's the only sort of positive I can think about it. It's just really disappointing to see, especially the national team, but also the club team not doing well. And yeah, 3 in a row, it's almost hard to believe. Although I think there's no point getting there if you're not going to go far and not going to compete anyway. Like we're just going to be the whipping boys. But yeah, no other major nation I think would allow that to happen without change. I think change must be done. I'd probably get rid of probably all the people in the Italian FA, except for those who maybe I thought were not too responsible. A part of me wants to keep Buffon, but I don't know what type of job he's doing there. I'd love to replace them with former players. I didn't want to write this video, but I was just thinking as well, I'd love to replace them with like Del Piero, Roberto Baggio, Cannavaro, Nesta Maldini, and people like that who know about football. Although it doesn't mean they'll definitely do a good job, and maybe too many cooks spoil the broth. But I'd probably replace them with those. But I would say there's nothing much I can do about it, but hope for the best, for things to change in the future. And on that note, I'm out and peace and love.